Tune in this Friday to the One Byron YouTube channel for part 2 of me and Slade's playthrough of A Way Out.
Hello, everybody. Another episode of Who the Hell Asked. Slade here alongside Byron, and we got a lot of news to cover today.
Yes, we do. So let's get started with the Super Mario I almost said new. God damn it. The Super Mario Brothers Wonder Direct that happened a few days ago. Announced to the shock of everybody, first off, because we both thought, and a lot of people thought it would be part of the September Direct, but it had its own Direct. So
that is correct, and we'll speculate a little bit on it after we go over some of the details that we got from the Direct itself.
Yes. So, first off, it is revealed, at least as of right now, there are 7 areas. We don't know how many worlds yet, but there are at least 7 main areas in the game, all with looking like some of the old, like, new Super Mario Bros. Style world themes, but, like, some, like, amped up to, like, extremes or mixed with other themes, so that's looking good. We have a big roster of playable characters. We have Mario, Luigi, Peach, Daisy, Yellow Toad, Blue Toad, Toadette, Yoshi, Red Yoshi, Yellow Yoshi, Light Blue Yoshi, and Nabbit. And an unfortunate note, though, Yoshi's and Nabbit won't take damage, but they also won't transform with power-ups. So, easy mode is locked behind 5 characters, as opposed to it being just a setting.
Yeah, and it's pretty unfortunate considering that I'm probably one of the largest Yoshi fans on the planet.
Yeah.
And the fact that they tied Yoshi being the little Timmy mode, even more than Nabbit, because of the flutter jump. Because don't get me wrong, I love the flutter jump. I know it makes the game easier, but like, I love the Yoshi games as a whole, so I didn't really have a problem with that. But making them invincible or invulnerable or whatever you want to call it to the enemies is a major blow. I didn't need them to have power-ups because they're Yoshis, and I get the flutter jumps like a power-up in itself.
Yeah.
But the fact that they don't take damage is just very sad.
Yeah.
No, I do think it's cool that all the characters, including the other Yoshis, can ride them.
Yeah, oh my god, I've seen so many memes of Yoshis riding Yoshis and being like, oh, we have strayed too far from God.
I mean, it's not even the first Yoshi game that's done that, though. People don't remember Crafted World. Yoshi's had the ability to ride other Yoshis in that game, too.
True, but, like, this is a much bigger game than Crafted World.
Agree. No, I absolutely agree.
But
and to me, the whole thing's sad. Yeah. I'm very sad.
Yeah,
but
and speaking of power-ups, it was confirmed everyone, of course, besides Yoshi's and Nabbits, can turn into the damn elephant. So it's not like what we thought it would be, where everyone had a unique animal transformation. Which, yeah, it makes sense, but it would have been cool, but, like, I get it from a developer perspective, especially considering, like, multiplayer and stuff.
Well, it's that, and also, like, I saw some people speculate that this might be the case anyway, because all of the characters, in terms of their stats, movement, and all that, are completely identical across the board.
Oh, yeah.
So there's no Luigi has ice physics and jumps higher and is floatier than Mario. There's no Peach flow. Toad's not faster or anything like that. They made the characters identical in terms of their movement to begin with. So giving them different power-ups already didn't quite make sense. If they were going for a more practical, everybody gets to play the same kind of experience with the exception of Yoshi and Nabbits, which I'm still molding about. But
yeah, I get
that.
It. But some of those things, like the higher jumps, like the Peach float, are badges. We have a badge system now in this game. We have 3 different categories of badges. There are the action badges, the passive blue badges, and the wacky flower yellow badges. So some of the badges that we saw in the Direct included a wall climb jump, which is very interesting. You can jump against the wall, press the jump button to jump straight up once. I think this should have been a core move. We've got like a parachute float, We have a fucking grappling hook, Slade. We have a
Yeah, the
goddamn
grappling hook was
hook.
crazy. That came out of
Yeah.
nowhere.
We have a dolphin dive, or dolphin swim for the swimming areas. The triple jump is a badge, and there's like some of those blue ones, like a coin magnet, safety fall. And one of the funniest badges was one of the funny special badges, which turned your character invisible. So you can't see where your character is, but which I think is pretty funny. I can't wait for the challenge YouTube videos that are gonna come out of it with that. But
yeah,
we got a taste of the badges. You can only put on one badge at a time. There was a developer interview with the developers of Mario Wonder that said, yeah, we were thinking of having multiple badges, but it would feel too much like Zelda, which is interesting. An interesting,
very interesting point.
comparison. But yeah, what are your thoughts on the badge system, Slade, as a whole?
So I have a long, like detailed list of thoughts.
Yeah.
And I don't want to get too much into because I know you share some of these thoughts with me because we talked about it previously.
Yeah.
But long story short, I like the idea of badges.
Yeah.
But I am also very concerned because when you have these optional badges as equipables,
Yeah.
that means these levels are going to be designed without them in mind for the most part.
Yeah.
Because they have to be completable without them.
Yes.
For players who don't have them equipped.
Yes. Now, the badges could be used to potentially get some collectibles. Obviously, not the Wonder Seeds. I'm pretty sure, as revealed, you get one Wonder Seed, which is the new Star Coin equivalent for beating a level, and you get one Wonder Seed per time you grab a Wonder Flower and go on acid trip mode.
Yeah. By the way, that's my biggest opinion about the game overall. This game is basically kind of a new Super Mario Bros. Game that has just acid trips added in and a lot of the movement features removed in favor of having to equip them as badges. So, but again, the new art style's nice. Yeah. I think the game's going to be very good.
Yes. It'll probably definitely be better than a lot of the new Super Mario Bros.
Yeah, because I think at the very least, the badges are going to add an interesting enough dynamic.
Yeah.
To where no two playthroughs are going to be the same.
Yeah. Speedrun, and I've seen some people say the speedruns of this game are going to get insane.
Because you're going to see a lot of like menuing on top of like what badges are optimal for this level. You're going to see individual level categories and stuff like that. Like, you're going to see a lot of very fascinating stuff.
Yeah, like
from speedrun for this game.
Yeah, my opinion on the badges, I like a lot of them, but also I think a couple of them should have been base game moves for, more insane, more incredible, unique level design. But I'm sure because apparently also in the same interview about the multiple badges, apparently the devs were just given however long they need. They were given total freedom, which is incredible. So they probably put a lot into this damn game.
Yes.
Yeah. And
from my understanding, they didn't put a time limit on their dev cycle. It's like, make a great game. Tell us when you're ready to, put it out there and we'll start advertising it.
Yeah. And now, probably the biggest thing that was revealed was multiplayer. People were speculating, myself included, was there even going to be multiplayer? What form is the multiplayer going to take? If you answered Dark Souls style, you were somehow correct. I doubt, though, anybody was guessing that. So, in the multiplayer, you are like you are technically playing in the same worlds, but not at the same time, because up to 4 people can join in a level at a time. You can have up to, I think, like 12 or up to 12 or 24 in a lobby, but only 4 can participate in a level at a time. If you get hit, you're a ghost. You become a ghost. You literally become a soul. And if you get picked up by anybody else, in local or with your little fucking standee in your little damn standee in the online multiplayer, they will be able to revive you with no life lost. So, yeah, the multiplayer if you've ever played Dark Souls, the multiplayer kind of works like that.
Yeah, it's honestly pretty fascinating. I think this is actually a really interesting concept done very well in this instant of Mario game where like, hey, listen, you could save other players as you're playing through casually and whatnot, and you get rewarded for it.
Yep.
And like if you're having some trouble, another player can help you out and we all get to, enjoy the game at our own pace.
Yeah.
And there's always the option of not playing the online mode.
Yep.
My only question is how much is Nintendo's very poor online service going to impact this?
Well,
and is there going to be latency issues when you're connected online? If these questions get answered and they're favorable, then this is only going to be a great feature.
Yeah, because like it's like a funny thing, it feels like it's like you're playing the game in a Discord call together, like all four of you are like playing a game together in a Discord call playing the same levels, except it's online and you can see your friend's progress, but like in like let's say local co-op, like the screen isn't like moving towards like whoever's like in the lead or whatever.
Yeah, it's a shared screen.
Yeah. So. And also there is a race mode. You can have 4 people hop into a level, hit a block, and you get to race to see who finishes the level fastest. So that's kind of cool as well. So
yeah, absolutely. That's going to make races for the game extremely interesting. If they decide to use that feature, or like the more traditional, just play the game from start to finish. Whoever finishes first wins.
Yeah. So but yeah, and also as you see here on the screen, at some point through the game, you will have these open areas to walk through instead of it being more linear, like let's say a new Super Mario Bros. U for the world maps. So that's also going to be interesting. And there's these for the badges, there's mini badge levels where you can unlock the badges, or well, for some of them anyways. Which that's really cool. I like that a lot.
So let's talk about the badges a tiny bit more, because like I said, I didn't want to go too in depth with my answer earlier.
Yeah.
I think that badges can be an extremely fascinating concept, especially because like when you have extra movement abilities and platforms like these, it's kind of more reminiscent to like Metroidvania titles where you don't have access to certain areas without them.
Yeah.
And I think this is a good thing because I think when you have different kinds of badges and whatnot, it means that when you're going through different levels, as long as the level design accommodates it, because again, I'm actually kind of concerned on this front.
Mm-hmm.
That means, again, like I said earlier, no 2 playthroughs are going to be the same.
Yeah, or you could
you're going to see a lot of creativity from players.
Yeah, or you could just do like solo badge runs, like potentially. So
yeah, potentially, or like no badge runs to get a very vanilla experience.
No badge runs, or invisible badge only runs.
Like you were saying, the invisible badge run.
Yeah, but
lots of stuff there. It's going to be like super fascinating or interesting.
And the last thing we have, of course, it's a big Mario game. You know what that means, Slade? We got a Switch OLED. It is a Mario Red Switch OLED. The Joy-Cons look like your typical red Mario Joy-Cons. The Switch OLED Mario Edition is available October 6th, and on the back of the dock, it has a little Mario silhouette and some coins on the back.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So, for those looking forward to, possibly getting another Switch or something, or upgrading to the OLED, though, personally, I would hold off on that, maybe forever until next year.
Yeah.
That's an option available to you, so I think that's pretty neat.
Yeah. And speaking
of other options.
Yeah. We have announced, it was heavily rumored, speculated, and leaked, but now it is official. Lenovo, a PC company, have launched their own handheld PC gaming device called the Lenovo Legion Go. It is the company's first Windows gaming handheld device, and Slade, what do you see that's very similar to the Nintendo Switch here, huh?
Gee, I don't know. Is it the fucking, how it looks itself, or I don't
um,
know. Walk me through it, Byron.
it has Joy-Cons. It has its own Joy-Con like controllers that you can attach to it, just like the Switch. And yeah, it's got on the left, I'm gonna call it a Go-Con to be hilarious. On the left Go-Con, you have the analog stick, you have the D-pad, you've got your menu buttons, and on the right you have ABXY, which I think that's more of the Nintendo layout, actually. Funny enough, for the ABYX. I think that's the Nintendo layout, except I think X is on the top on the Switch, but I could be wrong on that, but very similar to the Switch. Right stick on the bottom, and then like the Steam Deck, you have a little touchpad. But yeah, so it's got the AMD Ryzen Z1 Extreme processor, which AMD has been the processor of choice for, I think, pretty much all of these like big budget PC handheld devices. So good on AMD for that. It's running Windows 11. It's got an 8.8-inch QHD 16x10 Lenovo Pure Sight gaming display, 500 nit peak brightness. Supports resolutions from 1600p to 800p, as well as 144 hertz and 60 hertz refresh rate. I feel like 144 hertz refresh rate would be a bit of a waste on a device like this, personally.
Absolutely. I completely agree.
Yeah. It's got 16 gigabytes of LPDDR5 RAM and a 1 terabyte SSD micro SD slot. And yeah, so this is it's the Lenovo Legion Go switch it up.
Yeah, so long story short, this is obviously a competitor to the Steam Deck for the mobile PC gaming market.
Yes.
We don't know if it's going to have a lot of the same functionality, because obviously it's running Windows. Yeah. So you're going to have access to emulation and Steam and all that on there, which is kind of fascinating, all things considering.
Yes.
But outside of the fact that basically the totally not Switch Joy-Cons are included with this, there isn't really a whole lot here that stands out from the Steam Deck itself. So it's going to come down to which device has the better specs, which device has, better quality of life features like battery life and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, it can have up to 3 terabytes of storage with like terabyte expansion, which,
yes,
if I'm not mistaken, doesn't the Steam Deck only have up to 2 available?
I think 1.
Or is it more?
I think it's 1, actually, but I could be very wrong.
Only 1. So that is an improvement by itself.
I think at base model you could probably upgrade
the comments.
But yeah, so
so fascinating.
Yeah, the Lenovo Legion Go is expected to be available starting November 2023, starting at 799 euros, which I don't know what that would translate to in Freedom Eagles, but yeah, it's gonna be probably more so priced, if I had to take a shot at converting in my head, probably something closer to like the ROG Ally pricing at around like 600, 700, 800 USD. So yeah, another one of these fucking things enter our life. These handheld PCs.
I have the exact comparison for how much 799 euros is compared to the US dollar.
How much?
So the exact 1-to-1 value is $862.72.
Okay, I could see them charging 900 then.
I imagine they'd probably charge a little bit less because nobody's going to buy this handheld device for nearly twice the price.
Oh, less? Yeah. Yeah, I could see them going to like
500. 500? They'd have to go that low. Yeah, they have to go that low.
Maybe
if they go 600, nobody's buying this. And I guess we'll spoil our sales predictions for this. This shit's going to flop.
Yeah. Yeah. Like the ROG Ally has the Xbox backing as that's been like the big, like, hey, this is the Xbox recommended device for its like portable gaming. So it probably will do worse than that. That's all I'm gonna.
Yeah,
That's all I'm gonna say. on
and
that.
that's already not doing good,
Yeah, and
like at all.
speaking of things, Slade, that aren't doing good, we have the first of our two very depressing stories for this evening. We have Volition Games, who are under the now cold embrace of Embracer Group. They are closing down. This past June, Embracer Group announced a restructuring program to strengthen Embracer and maintain its position as a leader in the game industry. And Volition, unfortunately, got the axe. And Slade, what game series is Volition Games most well known for?
Well, they are known for the Saints Row games, in particular Saints Row the Third and the maligned Saints Row reboot that unfortunately flopped, which is probably why their doors are closing.
So this was posted on LinkedIn of all websites. But yeah. The unfortunate news. It's been a shit show with Embracer. I don't think we covered this last week because there was a lot of other bigger news, but we know now, Slade, who the $2 billion deal was supposed to be with for Embracer Group, if you remember that whole situation.
Yeah, I do remember seeing that article came out, but I actually forgot which company it was.
It was the Saudis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, you're right.
It was with some company with like Saudi Arabia. So them losing that deal. Ooh. And also, of course, the Saints Row remake, as Slade said, maligned, didn't do well, didn't sell well. So R.I.P. Volition.
Indeed. I mean, like I said, we're all going to remember them for games like The Punisher, and again, Saints Row the Third was legitimately an amazing game.
Yeah.
And it's honestly very tragic that this company is going by the wayside because of it. But
yeah. That's not all. But wait, there's more.
We love depression on this channel.
BioWare has laid off senior writing staff as part of its recent job cuts. Quote, I just assumed he'd eventually be buried under one of the cornerstones. I imagine everyone did. So as part of its publicized cutbacks, BioWare has let go of Lucas Christensen, the lead writer behind Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 and the writer of the first 3 Dragon Age games, Mary Kirby. Yeah, BioWare announced earlier in the week that it was laying off approximately 50 employees, 20% of its total workforce, according to recent employment figures, as a shift towards a more agile and focused studio. So, God, yeah.
This is tragic. So let's talk about some of his work, because obviously he had the first 2 Baldur's Gate games. He was a writer on the Dragon Age games, and obviously he was involved with Mass Effect.
Yeah.
And he is actually the father of Joker in Mass Effect, who is one of the game's more, iconic characters, to say the least. So, no, this is a tragedy when you just consider him, but also the fact that they let go of 20% of the staff as a whole is really sad, especially when you consider some of the amazing work that they've done.
Yeah.
More before they got acquired by EA, which fucking EA. We love to talk about EA.
Yeah. Lord.
Yeah, absolutely stunned. He's one of the longest tenured employees there, and he will be missed. He will be missed remarkably well.
Yeah.
By everybody who loves these series.
Yeah. BioWare General Manager Gary McKay wrote, in order to meet the needs of our upcoming projects, continue to hold ourselves to the highest standard of quality, and ensure BioWare can continue to thrive, we must shift towards a more agile-focused studio. It will allow our developers to iterate quickly, unlock more creativity, and form a clear vision of what we're building before development ramps up. And in position, as difficult as this is to say, rethinking our approach to development inevitably means reorganizing our teams to match the studio's changing needs. Yeah.
So this is basically PR speak for, we don't have time for good writers to write our games because we need these games to come out faster.
Yeah, because game development in general, like, I will forever point to, and I think we covered this on the show, I think earlier this year or sometime last year, that Jason Schreier tweet about how like, a game that could be in development now is probably more so in development for, like, the next PlayStation. Like, it's that fucking crazy. And speaking of shit that's crazy, Slade, this could potentially be a big story as we head towards the latter half of the year. So, SAG-AFTRA, the Screen Actors Guild Union, votes unanimously to send interactive media, video games in this case, a strike authorization vote to members, which include companies like Activision, Blind Light LLC, Disney Character Voices Inc., EA, who we just fucking talked about, Epic Games, Formosa Interactive, Insomniac Games, Take-Two, VoiceWorks Productions Inc., and WB Games.
Yeah, Warner Brothers. So,
yeah,
Byron alluded to it a little bit. This could potentially be a massive deal, not just in terms of like workers' rights and whatnot in the video game industry, but for video game production as a whole, especially because right now production cycles are pretty much largely controlled by shareholders and stuff like that. And most of these companies listed, we have covered numerous times about having very shady layoff practices. We literally just covered the fact that EA just laid off BioWare's BioWare's longest tenured writing staff and whatnot.
Yeah.
Byron, this is ginormous.
Yeah.
If that these unions effectively vote or these people vote to unionize for all these companies. And I think this has the potential to change the entire gaming industry as a whole. This might be the single largest and most important unionization effort we have ever seen in all of video gaming.
So to make a quick note, as the SAG-AFTRA website mentions, although key issues like wages that keep up with inflation and protections against unrestrained use of artificial intelligence are common sticking points in negotiations, the interactive media agreement is a separate contract from the TV, theatrical, and streaming contracts against which SAG-AFTRA members are currently striking. So yeah, in addition to the AI protection, SAG-AFTRA is seeking the same wage increases for video game performers as those who work under the film and television contracts, 11% retroactive to expiration and 4% increases in the second and third years, alongside for asking on-camera performers to have the same 5 minutes per hour rest period off-camera performers are entitled to, as well as a set medic present when stunts or hazardous work is performed, just like on a film or television set, prohibitions against stunts on self-taped auditions, and vocal stress protections. A successful strike authorization vote doesn't initiate a strike. Instead, the strike authorization permits the national board to declare a strike if the video game companies fail to negotiate fairly with SAG-AFTRA. The voting will be mailed to eligible voters this coming Tuesday. Voting will close at 5 p.m. Pacific on September 25th. And there will be an informative meeting Thursday, September 7th and September 12th.
So you see there that this is only covering people who act and whatnot, but make no mistake, any unionization effort for any of these video game companies always creates a large shift in a company's not just culture and whatnot, but it also presents a message to other employees involved with these companies as well. We've already seen a large tier movement of unionization go across not just actors, but also with developers with some of these other companies like Sega and whatnot. If this goes through, then most of these people under these companies unionize, you're going to see developers for these companies, follow shortly afterwards, because to me, it's one of those things where once the ball starts rolling, you can't stop it.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting situation. I do agree definitely on the AI part for sure, and definitely the pay rising with inflation. Of course, I'm I will always agree with that.
Yes, every company could do that, period.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how this will go. So, I guess week of September 25th, whenever we hear the public answer, we will keep you all, covered. And our final story, Slade, Insomniac is mentioned here. Insomniac are owned by Sony. Sony did some fuck shit. They put out a PlayStation blog, notifying, hey, here's your PlayStation Plus September monthly games, which Saints Row is the headline title. And
tragic.
Everything comes full circle this week, apparently.
Yeah.
With arguably one of the worst lineups in a hot second for PS Plus, Saints Row, Black Desert Traveler Edition, and Generation Zero. But they snuck in right at the end of this blog a price increase for the 12-month PS Plus subscription plan. So starting September 6th, PlayStation Plus Essential will now be $79.99 USD, €71.99 Euro, $59.99 Great British Pounds, 6,800 yen, which in US dollars, that is a $20 price increase from what it currently is, which is $60.
Yep.
Yeah, compare.
But wait,
yeah,
there's more.
But wait, yeah.
The extra PlayStation Plus subscription is $134.99.
Yeah,
and the premium falls behind that with the $159.99, which all absolutely insane increases.
Yeah, so
for no additional improvements to the service itself.
So yeah, Plus Extra is a $35 increase, and Premium is a $40 increase from previous prices. Now, I guess to be fair to Premium, PlayStation are apparently adding in cloud streaming soon to the Premium tier, which continues to make the PlayStation Portal look like a very worthless device since it can't even do the Premium cloud streaming. That device continues to take L's all fucking day. But yeah. The new price for the 12-month will remain at a discounted rate when compared to the 1-month or 3-month purchases. So this only affects people who buy upfront 12 months, which that is how you should do it. Even like with Xbox, with Nintendo, and PlayStation. If you're gonna pay for them, you should get the 1 year upfront because it is cheaper in the long run. But still, holy shit. The tier the tier I feel the most for is the fucking essential tier. Because that's the tier you need baseline for online play, for cloud storage. Like
$80 a year.
Like Christ.
Is disgusting. Like, and it's not even just like the fact that it's disgusting. Like I mentioned earlier, where are the improvements to the Surface?
Yeah, like
where are the new features? Where are pretty much anything?
Yeah, like
to make this price point even remotely like
the only the only tier that's really getting any benefit, obviously, as I mentioned earlier, is Premium with the cloud streaming coming soon. That's fucking it. If you're an extra, you're eating shit. If you're in essential tier, you're definitely eating shit. But oh my god. But yeah.
Not to mention how like tone deaf this is in regards to the fact that like nobody right now has this extra money to spend that are like playing video games. So like I don't know. To me, this is just extremely disgusting. And the fact that they slapped it in at the end of a blog, hoping nobody was going to notice it. Oh my gosh, this is just scummy. At like the highest levels. Like, this is Sony on their bullshit again. Whenever one of the console companies get super far ahead of the other ones, they start shitting all over their user base. Yeah, because they know they could get away with it because people will buy this shit anyway.
Yeah, like Xbox. I think we covered this when it happened a few months ago. Xbox increased the price of Game Pass. At least I think all the Game Pass tiers by only like a couple bucks though. They didn't do fucking $20, $35, $40 increases.
We rightfully like dunked on them for increasing the price at all. But like what Microsoft did makes them look like Jesus Christ.
Yeah, like
compared to this shit.
I think the pill would have been better to swallow, like, because naturally increases were probably going to happen as we've seen with like even like media subscription services like Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, etc.
Yeah, inflation.
But like I thought they would have done like $5 here, maybe $10 there, not 20, 35, and 40 respectively, all at once. Like
insanity.
And
absolute insanity.
I guess we could tie all this up with this little nugget of information from GameIndustry.biz. Weaker subscription deals have hit indie publishers, says analyst. Both Devolver and Tiny Build's difficult years partially down to smaller deals coming from Sony and Microsoft. So yeah, like Game Pass, because like the issues with Tiny Build have been one thing, which is running their Hello Neighbor series into the goddamn ground. That's a big thing. Yeah, because they have fallen. Their share price has fallen 95%, which I don't know why they went public in the first place. Same with Devolver. Why did they go public in the first place? An indie publisher going public sounds like a disaster just waiting to happen.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, because Devolver had a share drop price 92% since their peak in January 2022. But it's not just that, but they are getting smaller streaming deals. Because because Sony and Microsoft are tightening the belt on these deals because they're going to have their own big libraries of their own games they don't have to pay anybody for. And it's putting the indie game developers in kind of a not great position because originally when the big money was coming in for these deals, they took them. Because why wouldn't they take them? Especially if they're indie developers. Like, that's huge money you have
it's their
up
chance
front.
To make it past the indie label and become like a big studio.
Or just even make money off the title.
Yeah, just profit in general.
Yeah.
But this honestly is very disgusting because you have to take this news that they're doing with like indie publishers who are doing a really good job filling out these game like consoles libraries that have not been for the most part really filled with games since like the launch of the PS5 and the Xbox Series X.
I would argue
and they're dunking all over them.
Yeah, I would argue Xbox is in a worse position in that aspect than Sony.
No, absolutely.
But yeah,
and like then they have the audacity to increase the price of the product that people are paying for. So they're literally being greedy at both ends.
Well, pricing it without improvements. Now, maybe those improvements will come down the road, but we will see about that. But
yeah, they're shitting on their consumers and they're shitting on developers that they are putting their games on Game Pass. The whole thing's terrible.
Yeah, and like it hurts the indie game devs because there is the expectation by users that hey, these indie games are going to be on these subscription services. Whereas if they didn't take the deals in the first place, they would just still be like selling them like at whatever price or on the sale prices, which that's where indie devs make most of their money on. They make it, and that's how they make their money on Switch and on Steam because those two platforms have not had the subscription service infestation for new games. Anyways.
Yeah, and honestly, I think it's been for most indie developers such a blessing that they have the ability to release games on Steam and on Switch.
Yes.
And take most of the money back from those games or even like profit a lot.
Yeah.
As otherwise they would be beholden to Microsoft, Sony and their incredibly predatory subscription services.
Yeah. Not every indie dev though has faced this. I know this article mentions Team 17 have been doing pretty good, and I would imagine quite a few other indie developers have been doing good, even if they have or haven't taken these deals. But it's starting to happen to a few of the big ones, so it's probably happened to a few smaller ones, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens with indie devs, these subscription services, the consumer expectations when less indie games are going to be on the subscription services, and they have to pay price for for the games. Will they or won't they? That's going to be very interesting to
Yeah, because like the
see.
thing that really hurts about all this is, for the most part, these subscription services for a lot of these indie developers have worked as like a safety net
Yes.
for their games to profit, so that at that point they have the ability to continue developing games and not all be out of jobs. Because there's a lot of indie studios that you can name out there. There are countless examples.
Yeah.
That have made decent or good indie titles that just straight up did not sell, and it forced them to stop working on video games
Or pivot to something else. But yeah.
or pivot to something else.
Yeah.
So
or yeah, like and we've seen in the case of Devolver, Devolver had to delay. They did it in their Devolver way. They did a Devolver delay direct, announcing they had to delay like 5 different titles that were going to come out this year, including my game I was looking forward to most in 2023 game being the Plucky Squire. That's now my most look forward to game in 2024. I guess spoilers for that year-end video.
yeah.
But yeah, like it's an interesting situation. It's like some of the major indie dev publishers going public have hurt them because they had to appeal to stockholders now or shareholders as opposed to just doing what they used to do before. But I get why they went public to get big cash infusions, but it's not working out for them. Quote, the checks coming from Sony and Microsoft are just not as big as they were, and that creates problems if you're concentrated on that side of the market. It's a shit show all around, and it's going to be interesting to see how that affects more indie developers than the ones mentioned, or how it will make some indie developers thrive, like Team 17. They've been doing good, but it's gonna be interesting just to see how that all plays out in due time.
Yeah. Overall, tragic news. Not exactly the best week of news for games. Compared to last week where like, stuff was like really popping off and huge.
Yeah.
Um,
That's the whiplash though sometimes.
Yep, it's a pendulum. It goes back and forth. And hopefully with the news of the actors and whatnot unionizing for a lot of these companies, we can see major changes in the industry. But that is going to be it for the news this week. This has been Slade.
And this has been Byron. We will see you all next week for more gaming news. Bye-bye, everyone.